I am talking today to Catherine Ecton. She is the founder of Catherine Ecton Life Coaching based out of Washington, D.C. Catherine, it is so great to finally connect. I know we've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Thank you, Amanda. I'm so excited to have an opportunity to talk about my late in life career that I love, and I've been working ambitiously and industriously on, and continue to take courses so I can be up to date with all the new coaching concepts and techniques and to work best with my clients.
I love it. And I think you're such a great example of someone who's a student of life. And I know I've learned a lot just through our relationship over the years. So it's definitely a privilege to have you here today. One of the things that really stands out to me about you and your work as a life coach is that you connect so well to such a variety of people. What are the life experiences that you have had that allow you to connect so well with such a diverse group of people?
Well, thank you for saying that. I love all different walks of life and different nationalities and different cultures. I was very fortunate to whose job took him all around the world, and we moved 15 times overseas and with our young children with various hamsters, dogs, cats, goldfish. I had to learn giving up a community, as I said goodbye to one place, and establishing myself in a new community, job, finding new schools, and connecting with people who shared similar values and who also wanted the challenges and adventures that I was seeking. Whether that made me better with people or not, it's just something I've always loved and appreciated. To work overseas and get a master's at an overseas university also taught me to adapt, recognize other people's strengths, own weaknesses, and notice how I needed to make shifts. But I also always had to stay true to my values.
Why don't you talk a little bit about the training that you've received?
When I first started the training, I knew what it was all about. In fact, I had never heard of life coaching. I didn't know what it was. And I was blown away by the opportunity. There was quite a bit of time going through exercises and tools that I use now with my clients just to get started with myself, going inward and working outward, and then finding out what I wanted to do with this next portion of my life. So after the training, was pretty clear that and I wanted to go down that road to be a certified coach.
Fantastic. So the trajectory for you was you had a career, you did all kinds of things internationally, you retired, correct? And then you became a life coach in retirement.
Right. I retired from teaching and working in international schools in various positions. So I'm very energetic. I have a lot to offer. I've had all these great life experiences to do something that could help other people how best to cope with life changes that they didn't necessarily ask for, like dealing with job loss, career changes, career challenges, people who are retiring. I thought, wow, if I can figure this out for myself, wouldn't it be great to pass that on to other people who are struggling with some of these decisions?
So it sounds like your now career in retirement is very mission driven, and you specialize in transitions. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. And transitions include so many things. Leaving your job and retiring. It includes changing career paths. It includes getting unstuck, pulling yourself out of a hole where you're feeling lost and paralyzed and you don't know what to do next. It includes partnering with someone who doesn't want a friend or a sister or a parent or a spouse who will help them be accountable and help them find their own mission and their own pathway. I'm that person. As coaches, we are fairly neutral. We don't judge and say, wow, I don't know why you want to be a master gardener. We say, wow, it sounds as though being a master gardener really is fulfilling for you. How can you work that out in your life? How can you have that part of your life trajectory?
So I'm hearing you say the typical client hires you when they're feeling stuck. Maybe they're feeling stuck with a transition, a career change. Maybe they're feeling stuck in terms of just feeling happier, how they're feeling on the inside. How do you help people tools wise? Do you have a toolbox that you provide to each and every client?
I do. However, each client has a different agenda and different needs. Looking at different choices that they have in front of them. What are some options? What can they be intentional about? There's something called the Wheel of Life, which is very basic. You look at different parts of your life and you give them a numerical rating to see if it's a high or low number and where they'd like to go. Simple beginning exercise is enough to have say, wow, yeah, I haven't really thought of environment has on me. Friends and family relationships, I really want to improve those. I've been spending so much time on career development that I have let some of those things go. You have all sorts of possibilities depending on what the situation is.
In today's world, there are so many alternatives to hiring a life coach. I mean, you mentioned, friends or family. There's also a lot of self-help advice out there in books and on the internet. How does having a coach, you in particular, give people something a little bit extra, a little bit above and beyond what you would get from other alternatives?
People learn in different ways. And for some people, reading a self-help book that particularly focuses on their issue is great, and maybe it does the trick. Others, it's the connecting with someone. It's the real development of the coach-client relationship, where you take the co-part of yourself, your inner being, and you balance that with the active part of yourself, which is how you're living your days, your job, your spare time. And when you have that human connection, and that's what we're all about, is connecting. The self-help books and seminars are available, and there are plenty of talented coaches. What I give is that connection and commitment. And I wrote a blog about that. Connecting we do in the calls or in one-on-one ship so that we are clarifying and focusing on the client's needs. The committing to coaching, so the client has to commit to want to change. They want to make a change. Sure that they're going to follow through with that. And we're not just going to have nice little chats. We're going to work to make changes that I bring to each client because I do care about their story, achieve their goals. And I hope that my clients care enough exercises to open up to me, to share what's going on with themselves so that together we can move forward.
That's great. So connection, commitment, and caring, that's what you provide. That is really a differentiator. I heard you also say that it's kind of accountability. People feel maybe more accountable because they're working with you specifically. And I think with, wisdom, you have that wisdom that so many of us are seeking. It sounds like some of the work you do, though, is, it can be probably challenging. You do have to commit and do this work. What types of issues would you need to refer them elsewhere for?
Complimentary coaching session, 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes longer, that one can sign up for on my website. I sense the client is depressed, possibly clinically depressed. I'm not sure that coaching is the answer for what's going on with you right now. I would suggest you you look at this therapist or maybe another coach. I don't think I can give you value. So a couple of times I've done that. Mothers contact me of college students who were struggling with work in college. And I've had to say, no, I really need the contact to come from the possible client. I think we all know people who can benefit from coaching. Oh my gosh, I think my husband, my children, my friends, we all benefit from coaching. I have a coach. Coaches help you get through life. They give you some support. Live without it? Sure. But does it make life possibly more meaning and fulfilling? Connect to your values? Yes. And if I don't feel I've got that possibility with a client, I'll say I don't think you.
The commitment has to actually come from the person who wants the coaching. So that makes so much sense. And then, of course, there are
Yes.
clinical issues that you would refer someone elsewhere for because they might need the help of a clinical psychologist or someone along those lines. I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is, what is your typical day as a life coach like? What does that look like for you? I know that there are some people there who are curious about, the career and what it looks like and what it takes.
I have really great days. I'm happy every single morning when I bounce out of bed. I do exercise. I either go to an exercise class or I go for an early morning swim with a master swim group. It makes me so thrilled to be alive, to be with these people who are younger than I am, who are energetic, who are bright, who give me ideas and suggestions. That gives me the energy to start my appointments, which usually start at 10:30 or 11 in the morning. Have maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, then I stop for lunch, and I often have to do some work. I've been taking a course called Fast Pass to Masterful Coaching. I had homework to do for that and conference calls at coursework. And then I prepare for each client, looking through notes of what we talked about before, checking the emails to make sure they've been accountable to me during our non-coaching weeks. And then I have several late afternoon calls. I try and get some fun in my day every day, have coffee with a friend, to dinner with my husband or my family, or go to a movie so that I keep balance.
It sounds like you have created a great life for yourself as a life coach. What do you love most about what you do?
I love everything about what I do. What I love the most, working with a new client and seeing that person come to life in front of me. They'll say, wow, Catherine, I felt that way. I say, well, last week you said such and such. And, oh, it's really interesting. I'm discovering things about myself. And when they make those personal discoveries, oh, terrific. I haven't done the work. I've set the stage for them. I've given them the exercises, the tools, the conversations. I've guided them. I've helped them be accountable and committed with them. And then and when I see that happen, I feel terrific.
That would be fulfilling, I think, to anyone. And I think you're the logical choice for anybody, especially somebody who's trying to live that life, that sort of, international, life that you've lived, or someone who's going through that, who's had those similar experiences.
Right.
Yeah, I think you are the logical choice. And, I would choose you just because of what you do so much and you seem so on fire for it, and just, making a difference and having that mission focus in your life. So I am so thankful that you spent the time today and enlightening me.
Thank you, Amanda.
It's been really fun. Catherine Ecton Life Coaching. Check it out. She's on CatherineEctonLifeCoaching.com.